So Gandhi taught himself how to cut his own hair. I'm grateful that when I decided to try his experiment and cut my own hair, that I had electric clippers and YouTube to show me videos. I think Gandhi's situation, he's got a couple of mirrors and a pair of scissors trying to cut and trim the back of his hair. And it can't be an easy thing to teach yourself. Kind of got our stuff laid out here. What we're going to do is we're just going to take a advertising paper and just kind of put this in the sink, and this will help catch some of the hair and stuff so it doesn't make such a big mess. We've got our different sizes of blades laid out here, going from bigger to smaller, from 1 inch all the way down to 1/16 of an inch. Gandhi was a very frugal guy. When things didn't work out with the local barber, he decided to start cutting his own hair. Overall, I think it worked out pretty good. I started with like a 3/4 on top, maybe 5/8, I think. So worst case scenario, it'll grow back. And did the sides with 3/8 of an inch. Like I'd seen in a YouTube video, I used my hand at the top of my head to sort of a visual and physical guide. Gandhi taught himself to cut his own hair, both to save money and because when he went to the barber in South Africa, barbers told him, no, I won't serve you here. He talks in his autobiography how he felt about this. I threw off dependence on the barber. All people who go to England learn there at least the art of shaving, but none, to my knowledge, learn to cut their own hair. I had to learn that too. I once went to an English haircutter in Pretoria. He contemptuously refused to cut my hair. I certainly felt hurt, but immediately purchased a pair of clippers and cut my hair before the mirror. I succeeded more or less in cutting the front hair, but I spoiled the back. The friends in court shook with laughter. What's wrong with your hair, Gandhi? Rats have been at it? Take that to mean he didn't do a very good job. And then, of course, we'll do these, the angled ones for around the ears. My interest in Gandhi's simpler lifestyle doesn't include using scissors instead of electric clippers. One of the YouTube videos I watched stressed, make sure you go over this a number of times just to make sure you didn't miss any spots. It takes a little practice, so I'm told. It's the first time I ever tried cutting my own hair. And I spent a little bit of time trying to fade between the different levels. What's wrong with your hair, Gandhi? Rats have been at it? No, the white barber would not condescend to touch my black hair, said I, so I preferred to cut it myself, no matter how badly. The reply did not surprise the friends. Gandhi, instead of getting angry and upset and calling for a boycott, Gandhi goes out of his way in his autobiography to offer his opponent's point of view, to explain where they're coming from. The barber was not at fault in having refused to cut my hair. There was every chance at his losing his custom if he should serve black men. We do not allow barbers to serve our untouchable brethren. I got the reward of this in South Africa, not once, but many times, and the conviction that it was the punishment for our own sins saved me from being angry. He says, well, that's the barber's decision. The barber feels he would lose other customers, so that's his choice. Gandhi makes an effort to humanize his opponents instead of demonize them. And I think that's a very refreshing difference from the way things are generally done in 2017. After trying to touch up the back of my neck a little bit, with no guard on the blade, I think I dinged it a little too much, so I decided to try and fade the back of my head. And I think it worked out pretty well, as best as I can tell. I'm on my way to pick up my kids now, and I'm sure they will tell me if I missed a spot. One of Gandhi's other lessons for the 21st century is that maybe it's not necessary to have everything done for you, that there's value, and Gandhi says joy in doing things for yourself. So when my son saw that I cut my hair, it was really the first thing he said when he saw me. He was like, "Oh, you got a haircut. I like it." I said, "All right." he gave me permission to cut his hair. And we talked about how he wanted it done. He generally liked my style, except he wanted it to look more like his and not like mine. And I couldn't quite understand what he meant by that. So we went back and forth on this a couple times, and he said, "You've got those two things on the front of your head. I don't want those." I said, "Oh, these? That's me going bald. You don't have those yet." He said, "Oh, okay, good."
I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. I saved $11 by buying clippers and doing these 2 haircuts at home. Instead of having to try and coordinate where and when to get a haircut for me, my son, or anyone else, I can take care of it on my own. So that's the end of my haircut experiment. I definitely think Gandhi would approve. Until next time, #fast for peace, and just keep walking.